Well, hello, my name is Mike Stewart, and I'm running for State Senate in Tacoma's 27th District. Thank you very much for joining us in this video, and I just wanted to remind you, if you like the videos that you see, please share, forward, like, whatever the answer is, because this is a cloud-based campaign with no funding. And so the only way that this cloud-based campaign can work is if people choose to forward the messages on to other people of interest, whether to the positive or to the negative, right? I'll never forget, I remember one time I read a book by Howard Stern years and years ago, and he was saying that like when people liked him, they listened for like 90 minutes, and when people didn't like him, they listened for like 3-4 times that amount. And I don't know how politics works, and I don't really know how this will all play out with these issues, but I just believe this is the best way. And so we are on issue 10 of 75 today, which is the state authorized central bank. And I don't necessarily pretend I'm using the right language, and again, this is a beginning point to thinking, not an end point. But here's where I'm coming at it from. I don't think we're doing the best job in how much debt we're taking out at the state level. And just treating it as a debt ceiling to be raised is not actually addressing the problem at all. It's just raising the debt ceiling and kicking the can. But the thing about debt is it comes due. And the thing about debt holders is unless it's, aspects of government that can make things vanish and everyone just is like, whoa, that never happened. Debt holders don't like to not get paid. Because when they don't get paid, you know what they do? They just sell it as however many cents on the dollar to somebody else, and then they try and get paid. And it's a very vicious cycle. And the best way to avoid that cycle is not to take out more debt than we need to. And this issue, this even became one of my largest campaign issues, not this proposed thing right here, but just as a whole, which is just, how do you curb the appetite for debt? I mean, once you get used to these programs and like no one's throwing a fit and no one's doing anything, it's just you get enough people in city council or whatever to borrow, and then you just borrow and borrow and borrow. But I don't understand, A, how we're going to stem this borrowing, and B, how we're going to facilitate this debt, because right now we're just understanding how to facilitate interest. At some point in time, that principle, that bullet's going to come. And, we need to be in a position where we're better fiscally prepared to handle a future that will become a reality. And if all we do is focus on, the avoidance of, hard work and just like, hey, let's do a social program. Hey, let's talk about whatever. Like, yeah, that gets old. And like, I get it's fun, and I get there's enough politicians that do it that it becomes a reality. Because everybody wants votes and nobody ever wants to say anything. And like, who runs for a 2-year term not wanting to be reelected, right? Like, you can basically say whatever you want. And if we get, bottled up, then whatever, there's so much other stuff going on. Like, there's so much stuff. And like, I like Tacoma, but, hey, if Tacoma doesn't like me, then I'm not here to fight the weather. But yeah, on the state authorized bank, it's getting a better read on all the city and county borrowing. And it's creating a new format of authority to have to report to. And if those local leaders, to me, the worst thing a local leader can do is to saddle the future with this debt and just choke them out. I mean, people know this now when they go through school and they have all this debt for something they really didn't need that debt for, but they took it because, it was easy at the time. Like, tell me how this story ends. Like, the people who are living with this problem, it's real. And at a city, state, county level, it's real too. And when you look at these folks and how, with such little, compassion for the future, do they, strike their pens and just take on more debt and more debt. And it's not just one group, it's both. Because it's passing through and this and that, and it's just, it can be changed. But that's for a different topic. We want to recruit a better centralized agency and a better group at the top of that pyramid, because we want to give them the ability to fire city councils. And if city councils get so reckless and they put their future in a point where as a whole, they decided to do this, then the only measure that can be had is just, it's treasonous. And the way I think we can get ahead of that is just to, for localities, is just to cut the head off. And this is the only way that I understand how to go against it. Because at this state level, with, look, when cities have problems, they turn to the state. When states have problems, they turn to federal. This is how it works. And as the state, at some point in time, you got to put your foot down and you got to say, look, we see what y'all are doing, and it's reckless. And the amount of debt that's been taken out across the board it's absolutely mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing. And you can phrase the debt in different ways, and you can say, well, it's a line of credit, or well, it's a this or that, but debt is debt. Anything we're responsible to pay back is what we're counting. But yeah, so I think we need kind of a restructuring around a new method towards the heavy upstairs. And that heavy upstairs, obviously, the Fed deals with more private. But we want a group that can deal with the state of Washington, the most intelligent people that we can produce to oversee our larger debt. I mean, this will not be someone like me. It will be someone far more talented and equipped to do so. But, we want to make sure that these appointments, we get them away from political appointments. Because that's another thing that's killing us is you just get a bunch of sycophants going. And that's not beneficial for anybody. What's beneficial is you get, the most talented, hopefully impartial minds going to work every day to compete as hard as they can to create their best. And that's our approach. And I can't speak for other people, but, we're simply here to speak for ourselves and what it is we're trying to do. And I really, really believe, and I've been a corporate banker in the past, I really think we need to step back and reevaluate how we issue debt in this state and the ease at which we allow our localities to just pack themselves, just go, go, go. Because look, it's going to come due. Debt always comes due. So on that note, we are going to wrap up issue 10. So